Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi. Now I don't really buy that many modern toys, but I couldn't resist picking these three figures up from the larger 12-inch range that Disney and Hasbro have been producing for the Star Wars The Last Jedi movie. Now originally these were on sale for £13 each, and after Christmas they were reduced down to £6.50 each, which seemed like quite a bargain for these 12-inch figures, as the original 3 3/4-inch figures have only been reduced down to £7.50 from £10. So these seem a lot better value to me. Now I picked up three here. I picked up Yoda, I picked up Kylo Ren, and I picked up the First Order Stormtrooper. I've never actually bought any of these sort of modern 12-inch figures before, so this is the first time I'm going to take a look at them. So let's first up take a look at the packaging. So here we have the First Order Stormtrooper. It just says that down here in the corner. Ages 4+, and it's Disney Hasbro. And on the side you get to see some images of a couple of the other figures that you can get in this line. Obviously there's Rey and there's a Darth Vader there on the side. And then the other side shows you a picture of the First Order Stormtrooper. And I think pretty much the packaging for all of these is fairly similar. This one shows Yoda and Darth Vader, and then obviously Kylo Ren on that side. And let's see what the Yoda one shows you. That says shows you Kylo Ren and Darth Vader. There are a few other figures available in this line. There's definitely Poe Dameron as well, which I saw in the shops today. And it looks like each figure comes with at least one weapon. Yoda has a few more. Actually, he's got a few more little bits there. Little snake around his neck, and a little bag, and a lightsaber, and a cane in the back. And Kylo Ren has his three-pronged lightsaber there, and then the Stormtrooper has his blaster there. So let's get these figures open and we'll see what the quality's like and see whether they were worth £13.50 or was the £6.50 that I paid for them today. So first up, let's get into the Stormtrooper. My knife here just to cut through some of the sticky tape. And there we have him. You can see it's quite fairly well held into the box. Just a few little sort of bits of plastic holding him in. So let's cut those and I'll see what he actually looks like. That's the figure loose. And get the gun loose as well. And here we have the figure. It's actually not a bad figure. I'd say the sculpt on it is pretty nice. I do like the fact these are limited articulation, a bit like the original vintage 12-inch figures. The head has a little bit more rotation now. I can see it's got a bit of a ball joint going on under his head. Probably pull that head off if I pulled hard enough. And yeah, that's actually not a bad figure. I quite like it. It's pretty sturdy and feels quite like a chunky figure. Let's see if we can put the blaster in his hand there. That fits really well as well. So I would say these are actually quite nice figures. The sculpting is good. There's a lot of detail on it. Few little paint errors. This is what was putting me off the smaller figures, the ones that I bought for The Force Awakens. There were so many sort of paint errors. This one's got one on his leg. And there's a few here on the sort of bad paint application around the belt there and on the front. So they do suffer from sort of poor quality in the sort of production value. But overall, that's a pretty sturdy figure. So let's open up some of the others and we'll see what those are like. Next up, let's do Kylo Ren, because I imagine he's fairly similar construction to the Stormtrooper there. And fairly easy to get out of the box. Open. So again, same way he's held in, so just got to cut a few little bits of plastic there. He's got an extra one around his neck. So get that loose, and then he's got his lightsaber here held in the same way. And there we can see Kylo Ren. Now again, this is actually quite a nice sculpt on the figure. There's a lot of detail on his outfit there, a lot of detail in the arms. He's also got a bit more of a sort of rubbery plastic skirt put on there. So you can see that's made out of a different plastic, but that's only just the skirt part of it. His head again, it's got a bit of a ball joint on it, so you can rotate that round. And again, his arms and legs move. This one's obviously got a bit of a simpler paint detailing going on because it's really only a little bit of paint put on his face there. don't even, there might be a little bit of grey paint on his belt there, but it's very hard to tell. So this suffers less from the sort of bad paint application that the Stormtrooper had there. And then of course you've got his lightsaber. That looks pretty good, reasonable sculpt. A little bit bent and bowed, but that's again often the way with these modern Hasbro toys. The way they package them just seems to sort of distort the shape of the plastic. So I think that might need to be sort of straightened out using the pop it into some boiling water for a few minutes to see if I can sort of bend that back to being straight, because that does look a little odd that it's so bowed. But we'll put that in his hand and see how he looks. Now this is going to be a bit more awkward trying to get this one in his hand. It's quite a tight fit. There we go. So there's Kylo Ren with his lightsaber. Again, not bad for £6. That's a real bargain of a figure, and certainly I would say actually better than the 3 3/4 inch figures that I picked up for the last movie. Oh, you can see that his hands rotate as well. There's a wrist joint on that one. Did I miss that on the Stormtrooper? Let's see if the Stormtrooper has a wrist joint as well. Oh, it does indeed. I didn't notice that, so it's one little extra bit of articulation there. So let's move on to opening up Yoda. So here's Yoda again. I'm just going to cut a few bits of tape that hold the top of the box together. Now this guy is obviously a little bit smaller than the others, so I guess that's why they've added some extra weapons to him, and we'll see how he's packaged. Well, he's packaged in exactly the same way. Still a few little ties just to hold him in place, so just cut those. Got an extra one around his chest there, and another one around that side. So he's got. So there's the Yoda figure. He's got his cane here, and he's got a lightsaber. Now this figure actually feels a lot more weighty than the other two. Compared to Kylo Ren, he's a considerably heavier figure, and yeah, same as the Stormtrooper, he's considerably heavier. And I would have to say he's probably a little bit more detailed than both of those combined. He's certainly got a nice paint application. There's a lot of detailing on his eyes there and a little few flecks onto his hair. Then the snake has also been very nicely painted. Let's have a look at that. So you can see lots of lines and stuff painted on, and quite a lot of detail in the sculpt. He also, as I say, had a little bag around his neck. Again, that's quite nice. Nice bit of detailing. I'm sure we can take that off if we want to. A little bit more awkward because of his ears. And then his body, that's really nice sculpt actually. There's a lot of detail going on there. He's got nice little hands there that you can rotate. And again, his legs do rotate as well. They've sort of put a nice bit of detailing. Oh, they don't rotate particularly well actually. Can't really do a lot with those. You can sort of rotate them about that far. So that certainly limits the amount you can pose him. Let's try putting the snake back on his head, and we'll put his walking stick in his hand there. See if that actually fits. Oh, it does just about. Yeah, that's not a bad fit. Looks pretty good. This reminds me an awful lot of the original little 3 3/4 inch Yoda, the vintage version. Same sort of idea there, except without the fabric cape on top. But the fact he comes with the snake is quite nice, because that really does link him back to The Empire Strikes Back. The lightsaber is never one that I'm particularly sort of fussed about for Yoda, because really I don't particularly go for the prequel films, and I don't really like seeing him with a lightsaber in his hand. It does sort of fit. That's actually a bit of a tighter fit, that one, than the cane. Let's see if it can. Just about goes in his hand there. Looks alright actually with that in place, so yeah, that's not such a bad figure. But I think for my collection I prefer him with the cane, because that's how I remember Yoda. And so here we have the 3 figures together. Now, I wasn't expecting that much from these, but for £6 these are really worth getting. The construction of them is very nice. They're certainly a sturdy figure and something that you could play with a lot, and really would take quite a battering. They're really quite good sculpts overall, and yeah, for £6 definitely worth getting. I would have to say even for £13 I'd probably have picked up a couple of these if I'd known how good they are. The Yoda is by far the best of the 3 that I've picked up here. It's a very weighty figure. It's got some nice accessories and a nice paint job to it. Kylo Ren has the sort of least impressive paint job, but yeah, Yoda, that's a really good, nice figure, and I think if I was sort of adding anything to my collection, it would be this one, just because he's such a good figure. When I went into Tesco's, which is where I got these from, they only had one Yoda, so he's obviously not the most common of the other ones. They had a lot of Kylo Rens and a lot of Stormtroopers, also a lot of Reys and Poe Damerons, so it may be that those are the ones that sort of hang around for a bit, but certainly if you see a Yoda, I think he's the one that's worth getting. Now the paint application on the Stormtrooper is the worst of the three here. For some reason they seem to suffer with a lot of sort of little bits of sort of extra paint going everywhere. I guess that's because it's black onto white and it really stands out. I would hope that you can probably clean off some of these, and I may even try to sort of clean away some of the little scuff marks that are on the front of this one, and there's a sort of bad one on the back of the calf there, but I think overall actually it's certainly not bad. So that is my review of these The Last Jedi 12-inch Star Wars figures produced by Disney Hasbro. For £6 I would recommend going to pick them up. Even for £13 they're still actually not too bad, and I may even grab a few more now that I've seen what the quality's like. So I hope my review of these have been interesting to you, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos.
I thought I'd have a quick go at cleaning the Stormtrooper, just because there were so many marks on it, so I just used a bit of lighter fluid and a cotton bud, and I've actually been able to remove most of the marks off the back. All the ones on his sort of calf and back have gone, and there are a few others that have sort of disappeared quite easily. There are a few little ones left on the just above the belt here, which actually seem to be in the plastic. They're not paint marks on top, so it looks like it's sort of bits of sort of, I don't know, the wrong sort of plastic's got mixed in, so you've got little flecks of black in there, but the rest of it has cleaned up quite nicely. And I do, as I've said before, it is a little bit of a shame when you get brand new toys and they're already a bit messed up, but that seems to be the modern way. Hasbro's quality control is a little bit lax, but for £6, as I said, it's a pretty good figure, and I'm so used to cleaning things with lighter fluid, and it doesn't really bother me these days. I get every figure that I come in has to have a bit of cleaning, even if it's a modern one. So thanks for watching.